Hey folks, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with AstrologyMojo. Welcome. It is the day we talk about Mars in retrograde. Woo! But first, I just want to let you know that last call for my year in advance 2025 reading. Let me just get the link for you. I hope everyone is doing well. Come join me, say hello. Oopsie. Okay. There it is. Okay, cool. All right, so we're talking about Mars in retrograde, and Mars is the planet that represents momentum. I used to believe that planets did things to us, but I don't believe that anymore because I had many energetic, spiritual, quantum experiences, and I realized I felt powerless when I felt that. When I felt that the planets had control over me, but they don't. Excuse me. Everything influences us. So there are many people in the world who believe that things happen to them instead of the fact that they are creating the energy in their world. And that's when we take full responsibility. And that's when we can be empowered to realize that it's not outside that's making it happen. It's inside. It's mind, body, opening up to spirit. And the way we progress, the way we think, the way we feel, what we deny, where our power is. Mars is an energy that represents our momentum. It can be passive aggressive momentum. It can be assertive. It can be positive. It can be championing. It guides the sign of Aries. And this particular retrograde here, let me just show you the. So Mars begins its retrograde. It's already in the shadow phase, but on December 6th, it begins its retrograde phase right there. The S represents shadow. And as it moves its direction around the sun differently than the Earth, suddenly, as everything is an influence, not that the planet's doing it to us, suddenly we might be thinking or feeling, I just need to take a break. I need to slow down. I need to understand why I'm doing this thing or I'm in this relationship or what just happened. Again, just be empowered. Yes, if all the planets were suddenly hit by asteroids, we would tilt our axis on Earth. Things would change for us. We would feel what was happening, but the planets are not conscious of their movements and therefore do not control us. So when I say Mars is retrograde in Leo, don't run and hide. Take a break. First, it's going to be, oh, wait, let me see. Where are my notes? First, Mars will be retrograde. You can write these dates down in Leo, starting December 6th through January 6th, when it retrogrades back into the constellation of Cancer and then finishes that whole cycle on February 23rd. So I'm going to talk about 2025. So I'm going to talk about Mars going retrograde for each of the signs, but it's going to take place in two houses or in two areas of your world. So if you know what your chart looks like, look for Leo and Cancer. If you don't, I'll give you a clue as to where this might be happening for you and what we're looking at. So with Mars going retrograde, Mars being guides the definitions of our momentum, our anger, our enthusiasm, coupled with ambition and forward motion, like, yeah, let's go, or let's strategize how we're going to go and then proceed. So everyone's going to, experience their momentum differently. If you have difficulty expressing emotions, especially with Mars in Leo and in Cancer, you're going to find things come to a boil, or you're just, you're mad as hell and you're not going to take it anymore, So before you get to the explosive portion of the program, you can change that. You can alter it and say, okay, what's really bothering me right now? What's pissing me off about these people or that thing or that situation? Because it's never about them. It's what it triggers in you about your disharmony, because you might do it a different way. And it can be a positive momentum in that it helps you to see where your judgments are. I think every retrograde period, and we're in a lot of them right now, Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius. Uranus is retrograde in Taurus. Saturn just went direct in Pisces. And Neptune is about to go direct in 2 days. And then Pluto, it already went direct. So when we're looking at different aspects of our lives and we look at astrology through the lens of astrology, Mars is, how do you feel about that thing or about your own actions? What's your momentum? Where's your courage? Where's your momentum? And then we look at the outside things that Mars represents, which is metal, war, autos, mechanical things, things that have gears, things that have, yes, electricity, that's more Uranus. And when I look at this and I see, oh, Uranus is making a quintile to Mars right now. So in the next week or so, really examine where your creativity is. What's your impetus? Where's your inspiration to get something done? Whether it's clean out the back of the closet, organize gifts for those less fortunate. Where are you going to put that innovation? Because when Mars, action-oriented, frustration fueled at times, or motivated, meets Uranus, which is outrageous, erratic, rebellious, that's the part of us that is that, or technological or scientific or astrological. When those energies come together inside of us, we create things, we invent things. But because both are retrograde, it's going to be a feeling of wait. As an example, our daughter gave a Christmas list of things, and they wanted an art cart where they could put their supplies. So I went on this morning and I was looking at art carts, and I see metal ones and plastic ones with cups on the side, one with the roller wheels that lock into place, some with baskets, some with wooden tops. And suddenly I'm getting overwhelmed because I don't know which one to get. So I always go to reviews and I look at when a person posts a review. Is it in a retrograde? Was it in a retrograde? What's the issue that they have? And a lot of times, if it's a mechanical thing, I might say, I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to think about, it looked beautiful in the picture, someone said, but it took me 3 hours to put it together and not all the screws were there. And then the top didn't fit. I was like, oh, okay. So the structure of something was the issue when assembling. So I look at how pieces are assembled in a Mars retrograde. Let's say someone says, hey, we're having a potluck dinner. Come, for the holidays. And you think, okay. And you ask, are there any food restrictions for anyone? Then, no, make what you want. And then you go and you make what you think would be great for the thing. And they don't tell you that 50 people are showing up and you made one little thing, or the opposite. So sometimes the details get missed. And then you get annoyed. And then you're thinking, well, am I annoyed because they didn't tell me? Or am I really annoyed because I didn't think to ask? So when we go within and we're formulating the plan, we sometimes don't think outside ourselves. Someone said to me, this was during a Mars retrograde some years back. And Mars goes retrograde about every 2 years. For about 6 weeks. Sometimes it'll spend months in one or two signs as it, traverses back and forth. And when it does, it's like, well, we have to do some serious soul searching on our MO. What's our modus operandi? How do we approach something? Is it right out of the gate? Well, or is it, yeah, that's fine. And then go home and break crap because you're so upset that someone did or said something or didn't say something or didn't do something, but you never expressed it. So with a Mars in Leo, this is a more dynamic energy than a Mars in Cancer. And a Mars in Leo retrograde is I need a plan. I need inspiration. I need to do something different. I just feel is the key word. I feel like I have to create something. And then you go about saying, well, okay, I'm going to get into crafts and I'm going to buy things with metal, knitting needles, crocheting needles, resin machines, little oven bakeware so you can make tiny cakes, whatever floats your boat. And you get into this momentum of wanting to create something and create something. And if you get frustrated while you're creating, ask yourself, Leo, let's start the whole countdown now for each of the signs. Let's begin with Leo, sun, rising, and moon. With Mars going retrograde tomorrow in your sign, already there until January 6th, we're looking at your momentum in creation and what spurs you. If you make a sudden right turn, is it because you are feeling bored in your life? You're frustrated. You want to have a healthy outlet. So you go to the gym, you haven't worked out in 6 months, and suddenly you're lifting weights and ow, you hurt yourself. So be careful of that momentum to just get out there and ride a bike. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? So we want to temper the extremes, Leo, sun, rising, and moon, and move into the thing that helps you to feel the happiest, the healthiest, the calmest, the most creative, the most inspired. What are that? Play, sing, dance, write, paint, origami, start a garden, whatever, wherever you are in the world. It's not always winter. Winter is coming for the rest of us. So think about what you can do to help yourself feel motivated without stressing your body or without the expectation that someone's going to do it with you. Yeah, I just signed up for this course, come with me, Tabata, sword training. We're going to go and learn how to be warriors. And your friends, spouse, family members go, yeah, I'm good. And see you later. And you're like, oh, I wanted to go with people. Well, say that. Don't expect them. So then you can mull over your expectations on a deep level. All right. When Mars retrogrades back into Cancer, it's going to be about the deep and hidden psyche triggers that you have that keep you feeling like a victim or someone who's wounded. And that's what's actually stopping your inspiration. So we don't want to blame because we are creating our own energy and we are creating our own momentum. So it might be a good time for a counselor in the month of January through February. Leo, sun, rising, and moon. Okay, Cancer. Now that it begins, now my watch begins. It is also first house for you, but only in January and February. In the month of December, Cancer, sun, rising, and moon, we're looking at the second house of finance. And what do you want to do with your money? You might feel like you suddenly put the brakes on something. Well, we can't do that because I haven't made enough money in 3 months and we can't. And then you put restrictions everywhere in your world, including on other people. But if it's something you love, you have no problem spending the money. So this is about value and worth. So when the Mars moves into the sign of Cancer, you're wondering, okay, for Cancer, sun, rising, and moon, when Mars is in Leo, you're wondering, am I worth it? How much do I spend on that? What are my resources? What can I rely on? What's my income doing? Am I making enough money? Do I want to be at this job? Should I get a part-time job? Do I quit this thing? What do I do? What's the question? Well, you have to feel it. And it's not what they owe you. It's what you value about yourself and feel like, I really am worth more. I'm going to ask for a raise. Let me mull over, give it time. Let me mull over the things that scare me the most about asking for a raise. Let me mull over the things that I love the most about this job. Do I stay? Do I go? So your worth is in question, Cancer, Sun, Rising, and Moon, only because you're putting a dollar value on you. You can't do that. What is the dollar value on any person, on any living thing? It's the input you have and what you get back because of what you allow. Now, if someone says to you, oh, there's an easier way to monetize your business, or there's an easier way to, you can outsource, delegate. No, by the time I teach somebody how to do something, I'll just do it myself. Really? Cancer? Okay. Like, you're piling on the stress and the I got to do it. I got to do it. You're a cardinal sign. We love how industrious you are, but really, does it serve you? I don't think so. So when January and February come around and Mars enters your own sign, you're going to be either so frustrated that you weren't expressing yourself or that you don't value yourself, that you're thinking, I need to think about that. I need to kind of go within, do more meditation, be easier about the flow. If someone gives you $1,000, your first question is why? What's the catch? Instead of, oh, really? Okay, I'll take it. What do I do with it? Well, I have this bill, that bill, that bill. How about you take some and you just play with it? And then research what to invest in. So January, February is going to be a soul searching time for you, Cancer, Sun, Rising, and Moon, on what you think you're worth and how to go about expressing that in business, in the world, with friends, with life. All right, moving on to Virgo. We start off in the second house, Virgo, with Leo is going to be well, it's complementary to you in that you get all fired up about what you want to be doing. And I would say that the time you invest in yourself and in other people, these houses are going to overlap for a lot of the signs because of the retrograde going into two signs. So Virgo, by the time, I want to backtrack and go, you're inspired by something. A healing happens. So your 12th house really is what's going to get fired up in December. Let me write that down. So it's the 12th. I wrote this wrong. So the 12th house and the 11th house. And when Mercury is retrograde, so that's your guide. You're already like, what? Where? I don't know. With Mars in Leo in your 12th house, it's a feeling of, I want to do something different. I want to explore my life. And you might be a counselor thinking, I want to do it differently. Maybe incorporate art, music into therapy. Or maybe you're thinking, I need some kind of expression that I'm not getting. And maybe your dreams are lit up right now, Virgo, Sun, Rising, and Moon. By the time we get into January, February, when Mars enters retrograde in Cancer, you're thinking about the people in your world. Do they belong there? Who are my friends? What about my coworkers? What if I don't want to hang out with these people? And I'm fine just working with them, but not hanging out. How will you express yourself? What's your momentum? People want you to come out, or maybe you're pursuing people who aren't responding. Virgo, sun, rising, and moon. So consider the people in your world, and that can include family as well, because the 11th house for you deals with the momentum around, with Mars retrograde in Cancer, the momentum around you building up frustrations around the way people do things, or around the way people don't do things. And there could be someone who comes to you and says, "Yeah, look, I've been holding this in, but you stepped on my toes. You said something, you didn't say something." And you're like, "Oh my gosh, let's talk about it." So there might be some extra emotions that are happening in January through February for you, but you need to work that out, because moving forward, you want to have a healthy, healthy contemporaries in your world, healthy work environment, right? So ponder that, Virgo, sun, rising, and moon, and make sure that your momentum is not passive nor aggressive. Now, I'm pointing at the wrong one here. Libra, when we get to, so this would be your 12th house, and this is your 11th house. And then this is your 10th house. So Mars in Leo deals with the 11th house. Mars in Cancer deals with the 10th house. So Libra, this is all about career. Let's just couple them. Career and the people you work with. Again, no acting out sideways, no allowing other people to. If you're the head of a team or a project and you delegate tasks, Libra, sun, rising, and moon, or you're not delegating and you're taking it all on, things are going to fall by the wayside in the next 2 months. Keep that in mind. 3 months. Keep that in mind. So you want to delegate where career is concerned. And also, you might be getting a promotion or some extra praise, and you don't see it coming. Because if you take on the slack that other people let go of, well, okay, it depends on who you are and how you handle it. But if you grumble while you're doing it, you could take the slack for someone that's not your responsibility. And then suddenly someone says to you, "I'm sorry, who asked you to do that?" A higher up might say that to you. And you're thinking, well, they weren't doing it. I wanted to get it done. So it's going to feel crazy on the outside. It looks like backwards. Libra, sun, rising, and moon. But what you want to focus on is collaboration with people who are enthusiastic about what you're doing, or that you're part of a group or an environment of people who are enthusiastic and want to include you. Just know your task. Be specific. Be deliberate, Libra, sun, rising, and moon. And then when January, February rolls around and Mars is retrograde, then in Cancer, in your 10th house, that's career. That's about you understanding that you're probably doing more than you've been asked, and maybe you're getting praised for it, but are you being compensated? And what if you're retired? Maybe you're thinking, "Oh, I'm getting to that point. I'm kind of done. What's my life direction look like? I need to take a rest. I need to be at home more." Cancer's a homebody sign as well. Even just working at home or working on the home, that might come to light. And for you to say, "I am going to start to plan my retirement." Even if it's 2, 3, 5 years in advance, you're thinking about something different in the career sphere. So if you have this urge to hide, or you have the urge to slow down, maybe you can go part-time. So think about what that looks like for you. All right, we're going to move on now to Scorpio. Now, Scorpio, you're actually, because you're a fixed sign and Leo is a fixed sign, it's very complementary to you. And Mars is a co-ruler. It used to be the ruler until Pluto was discovered in 1930. So you're familiar with the feeling of get it done, get out there, be the leader. Be secretive sometimes, but be the leader. So this is 12 for you, 11, 10, and 9. So your 10th house from December through January 6th is all about taking the lead, but then you must communicate that information to other people and not just roll up your sleeves and do it yourself. It's a different feeling than Libra because you're already in charge of something. You have knowledge, you have the desire, you have the team, but there's something that says, okay, you might have reached your limit with something at work, and or how it looks by the time we get to January, February, how it looks with contracts and renegotiating the contract, especially if you're a teacher or if you are in training with something or a trainer. So someone that is in charge of a team or someone that is in charge of the law, perhaps, and heading up, the legal aspect of things, or marketing yourself so that when you do present the thing to the client, to the higher ups, to the employees, you've got it down, but you've got to collaborate. Leo energy and with Mars retrograde is sometimes you have expectations that are not being spoken. And sometimes you have expectations that are so spoken, they're almost demanding. So Scorpio, sun, rising, and moon, you really need to look at who you're working with, what you expect of them, and how you would like things to go. And perhaps during the retrograde period, you're going to start to let go of some of the control so that you can stand back and see, oh, how does this machine work now? Is it well oiled? Do I need to step in? We need to be researching about something. We need to be doing something else that might deal with your talents. You delegate to a team so that your talents can be better spent looking at what are the legal ramifications? Oh, what's the next step in the education process? What about my higher inner self, Scorpio, sun, rising, and moon? You might be thinking, oh my gosh, I just had an epiphany. I need to meditate. I'm going to take a sabbatical and I'm going to go do, 6 weeks at Joe Dispenza. Or start a yoga class on the side. So you might make a sudden right turn, Scorpio, sun, rising, or moon. Just be prepared to be communicating that. Okay, Sagittarius, with Mercury retrograde right now in your sign through December 15th, and the sun is in your sign as well. There's a lot of enthusiasm mixed with confusion about, oh, I thought I wanted to do this, or I'm so determined to get this done. Let's look at your momentum, because Leo is a fire sign just like you. So this would be 12, 11, 10, 9th house, contracts, travel. Maybe things got postponed. Maybe you're not feeling well and you have to, do I need insurance? Because we move into the 8th house with Cancer. So travel plans between December and the end of February, Sagittarius, sun, rising, and moon, might change rapidly. The airplane was scheduled. You were going to go this leg, goes to that leg, goes to this leg. And then suddenly it didn't go anywhere because everything got canceled from weather, or you were going to go to Tobago and they put you in Fiji, and then you were going to get on a cruise. You missed the boat. So there's like a lot of stuff happening. I would just double check all the insurance and get insurance for things. If you are making major purchases like a car or motorcycle, just make sure you really read the fine print, Sag, sun, rising, and moon. And I wouldn't do anything too dangerous or adventurous, like jumping out of airplanes at this time. I mean, you're going to create your own reality anyway, but just trusting that your needs are met, yes, but you will be tested not by anything outside of yourself except yourself. Like, what was I thinking? You don't want to get to that point in time. It's somewhere between now and the end of February. So contracts, where you put your money, legal ramifications as well, higher education, philosophy, religion, spirituality, all that comes into play. And also, are you inventing something? Did you write something? Are you publishing something? You might need to get a new editor, Sag, sun, rising, and moon. You might need to be thinking of, who are my beta readers? Who are my testers? What publishing house am I going with? Am I going to learn Kindle? What if I don't have the patience to do that? Well, you're going to invest money by the time Mars gets into Cancer retrograde. You're going to invest time, energy, and money in collaboration with someone who knows more than you on how to get the job done, whether it's an editor or a project team leader, or maybe it's spiritual counseling, and you really want to go deep. You really do, Sag, Sun, Rising, and Moon, because the thing that you want to put out into the world, your talents, your resources, your know-how, maybe you're teaching something, you need to collaborate through the end of February and really understand that what you're outputting right now in your mind, oh, I can do this. I'm going to do A plus B equals C. Well, the Pythagorean theorem won't work out by mid-January because you have put more emphasis on the thing instead of who you collaborate with for the outcome. I hope that makes sense. That's what it feels like. And also your money with others, joint resources. If you're getting married, if you're getting divorced, if you're taking on a business partner, these things have to be looked at as well. And don't just assume, Sag, Sun, Rising, and Moon. Do not assume that they have the same thoughts as you. All right. Capricorn. Now, Capricorn, when Mars enters Cancer retrograde, that's going to be a big deal for you. It's your opposite sign. You're both cardinal. But let's just look at Leo right now. So this is your 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th house, collaboration, joint resources. Where are you putting your money? Are you invested more in taxes and getting money back and really learning how money works? I think that's going to be big for you through January. And you might be making more money, even with Mars retrograde. You might find a whole new audience, depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you're promoting yourself. So aside from money, joint resources are also sex. You might find that that kind of dwindles for a little bit. And it could be for no other reason than you and your partner are exhausted. You've been working so hard. I just want to go to bed and go to sleep. It's been a busy time, holidays, all that stuff. So between December 6th and January 6th, with Mars in Leo retrograde, we're looking at you shoring up your resources, your energy, your momentum toward sex, taxes, and estate planning. So be prudent, yes. Think as an abundant person would. Think about one of your mentors, Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon. What would your mentor do? Even if a mentor is someone that you idolize and you have watched them over the years, whatever industry they're in, and you might say, I wonder how they would do it. I wonder what they would think. I'm a writer, I'm a Capricorn rising, I'm also a Leo moon. I heard yesterday that Aaron Sorkin writes with the end in mind. Now, my husband told me that years ago, so I had to learn how to end a story first before I began writing it. And I'm about to do that again with my 4th book in my Sign of the Time series for each of the astrological signs. And it hit me like an epiphany. Not that I didn't do it before, not that I didn't know it. It just was a huge reminder. So retrogrades can be huge reminders of, oh, remember you wanted to do that? Let's start with the end in mind. So I'm about to write the ending of my 4th book before I even begin it. We'll see how that goes. So Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon, when Mars retrogrades back into Cancer, January and February, I just lost track. So that's 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7 partnerships. Who are you partnering with? And it can be business partnership. It could be you and your spouse or significant other. It can be maybe you have no one and you're thinking, I need to do a little soul searching and figure out why I won't allow someone in my life, or the people that I allow, I keep attracting the same kind of people. So it can be a business partner. It can be your fan base. It can be collaborators on a project. So partnerships through January through February, Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon are going to be big. You're going to be learning what you really need and how to articulate that when Mars is retrograde in Cancer. Okay. Aquarius, Sun, Rising, and Moon. Here we are. And this is going to look like 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7 partnerships, and then 6, health and work and pets. So let's start with partnerships. When Mars is retrograde in Leo, this type of partnership is going to be, hey, pal, buddy, love you. You've been sick, you've been down, you've been distracted, you've been playing video games, you've been out with your buddies. I need a little help around the house or with the kids. Yeah, can we work out something? So Aquarius, sun, rising, and moon. Let's not wait till you're frustrated to have that conversation, because it will affect your health, and you'll start craving, fattening foods and carbs. So when you are looking at what your partnerships are like, it's okay to be bold, but not demanding. It's okay to express yourself, but with compassion, not but. So Aquarius, sun, rising, and moon partnerships during December and through the first week of January are going to feel a little sudden, last minute, scattered, possibly, because everybody's busy. And you have an expectation deep down that someone will do or not do something, but you want to vocalize, you want to say something. And if you've got a business partner and they're not picking up the slack, or maybe you're just the one who's just like taking a break and you don't feel good and they're doing all the work, there has to be equality. Aquarius, sun, rising, and moon. And then the 6th house is getting into when Mars is in Cancer retrograde in the 6th house. For you, it's going to be, I need to do work. I need to set up my work practice differently. I need to approach different the way I work out, not like aggressively, not all or nothing. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to learn something new. Learning one new thing a day, Aquarius, sun, rising, moon, is going to help your health and your work strategies. You may need a business planner, or if you're an artist and there's an app for your iPad so that you can organize what you're making, what you're creating, what you're spending, how you're selling, what you're selling for, what are your profits. Just organizing the business aspect of things is going to help you. Now, with pets, you might find that someone's got a tummy ache, or with children as well. Someone's got a tummy ache. Someone's eaten something they shouldn't have. And it's upsetting to you because, you don't want to see anyone, especially a pet, suffer in your life. But you may be down and you may be feeling, oh, I just want to eat like a block of cheese. A block of cheese and a bag of popcorn. But please watch the extremes while you're eating, and nurture, nourish, and work out your body in ways that are more Cancer-like. Maybe if you can get into a pool, or to be near water, or to do some yoga and stretching to build momentum through slow, steady, maybe some Tai Chi instead. So think about that, Aquarius, sun, rising, and moon. Pisces, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6th house. Okay. 6th and 5th house, Pisces, sun, rising, and moon. The 6th house for you is all about your approach to work, but are you burnt out creatively? Are you doing too much, not being asked, like Virgo? Are you doing something and not paying attention to your body? Maybe you need a standing table so that you have the option of sitting down, standing, moving around, getting the work done. And it can be too that the people that you're working with are having a lot of difficulty and you have to pick up the slack. And maybe some people are out sick, or they've taken leave or vacation, or you're working with a group of people that are falling on hard times. I have a client who has a job where she helps people, mostly immigrants, learn how to get credit and how to make the money, deposit the money, spend some of the money, save some for taxes. And she said it's hard because these folks are, they come from poverty situations. And so there's a lot of education involved. So Pisces, sun, rising, and moon, if you are educating people at the office, at home, with work, because this is also about 5th house and children, grandchildren, creativity, coming up with innovative solutions. By the time Mars gets into Cancer retrograde, January and February, you might be inundated with, maybe you're building something and someone says, yeah, these are the specs. And you're thinking, there's no windows. We got to redraw. We have to redo this. So there's going to be a lot of 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, but that's okay because you want to be as present as possible, Pisces sun, rising, and moon, so that you see what's happening with the people in your family. You don't want to overstep or miss something like, why is that family member behaving that way? Are you okay? So then it's not about taking out the garbage or, the household chores. It's, honey, you're a little pale. Are you okay? And being more present with how that affects you, your health, and your momentum with work so that you can organize a creative system that incorporates team members, family members, and also pets as well. And saying, all right, we need to organize a plan so that so-and-so or me is not doing everything. All right. So let's look at that Pisces sun, rising, and moon and take the time while Mars is retrograde in Cancer to really be creative, even if you're burnt out. And creative doesn't mean you're an artist, painter, singer, writer, dancer. It could also mean, you're a computer programmer and you're just burnt out because you've been working so hard. So creativity is who we are. And if you're looking to have a baby, this might be the time. If you're looking not to have a baby, this might be the time to pay more attention because mishaps or slip-ups or whoops, forgot. Okay, Aries, sun, rising, and moon. Then we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 is what we're looking at. So the 4th house, Aries, is for you. Well, it's a fire sign. So in December through the first week of January, 4th house is the 4 walls. What needs fixing in the 4 walls? And please, please, please be so aware of fire in your house. Candles on the tree at Christmas time, or sconces or electrical lighting outside while it's snowing or raining. Make sure the plugs are covered. Just be really aware of taking care of electrical things, Aries, sun, rising, and moon. And not assuming that, it's 5 years old, I could plug it in and it'll still work. That's fine. And then there's a snowstorm and there's a weight on the cord, and you know what I'm saying. So Aries, sun, rising, and moon, just be really careful about that in and around the home, but also what sparks you. This could be a very creative sparked time, a very family oriented time where people come home for the holidays and you want to just hang out and do stuff you used to do. Hey, remember when you were 10, we used to make these cookies? Go do that. Just pay attention to the stove, the oven, and make sure everybody's got oven mitts. Also, how you're communicating, Aries, sun, rising, and moon. When Mars enters Cancer, it will be for 2 months in an area of your chart that deals with going within to see how you perceive. What do you perceive? How do you perceive? How are you speaking? How are you expressing? Are you blunt? Are you assuming that they know and then suddenly come out sideways? Are you thinking they're thinking the same thing? And then when it comes time to, sign the papers or communicate to a third party, you look at each other. I thought you wanted green. I thought you wanted blue. So there has to be more communication around your feelings and what you're thinking. Now, if you're a writer, this is a fantastic time to go in and just, automatic writing. Be spontaneous. If you're someone who's writing music, same thing. Be spontaneous. Or a painter, be spontaneous. The communication aspect with Mars being retrograde in Cancer, Aries, sun, rising, and moon, is also about you changing your ideas of what you used to think and how you used to think. And that can be about relationship, Cancer, home, family, romance. You're setting up a home differently now, Aries, sun, rising, and moon. Maybe you're divorced. Maybe you just got married. Maybe you're married for the second time. Maybe you've moved or you have a vacation property and now you're going to invite certain family members to come and spend that time with you. So the family dynamics is changing, and so is the location at times for some of you. And so that feeling of being at home needs to start in your body. I'm at home in my body. And then that's when the inspiration comes. Okay, Taurus, sun, rising, and moon. We have 1, 2, and 3. So 3 is communication, perception, beliefs, teaching, learning, editing. If Taurus, if you're writing something, if you're about to teach a class, if you are thinking of a different way of perceiving something so that you change your mind more easily, Mars in Leo is a great placement for you, because it's like saying something's going to happen and you're going to say, I didn't see that coming. And then you get a little surprised, shocked, and maybe like, oh, wait a minute. I could have had a say in that. I could have said something and I didn't. Oh, man. So when things are happening around you, Taurus, sun, rising, and moon, and you're getting back from the world certain input, certain validation or invalidation, it's stemming from you. So if you're not getting what you need with Mars and Leo retrograde in your house of communication, it's going to feel like, I didn't even open my mouth. You knew exactly what I wanted. You finished my sentences, or the exact opposite. I thought I said this 4 times. I don't want that. I need this instead. And like, you never said that. And then come the arguments. So if you're not being heard the first time, speak up. I just want to make sure this is a good time to have a meeting with you. I just want to make sure this is a good time to share something with you. If not, let me know what is. So you're being direct, you're being present tense, Taurus, sun, rising, and moon, and you're letting the other person know you have a need, but let's look at the appropriate time to converse about that need. And then that other person might say, okay, how about like later on at 4:00? And you go, great. Even if you have to schedule time with a spouse or a family member, you want to be respectful and not assume that, I have a need now, let's talk about it. Or I have a need and I'm not going to talk about it because they've been ill for a few weeks, or, they're going through a rough time. And then you hold that in, and then you feel like a victim some point down the road. We're not going to do that, Taurus, sun, rising, and moon. We're going to express. Now, if you're creating something, this is seeing behind the scenes, reading between the lines. Someone might say to you, oh, I was having problems doing this thing. And you come up with a solution that they never thought of. You might start a business idea with this kind of thinking. Like, oh, instead of doing that, let's go 2 steps back and look at this, because that sets up the framework. And they're like, oh my God, you just blew my mind. So you have a way of communicating now that can go deeper, and it can create problem solving for people, including yourself, because it's going to increase your self-worth value. It's going to increase that feeling of, oh, that felt good. I could probably make money doing that. Or as I'm making money, I'm going to express, not expect, not demand, not wish and hope, which is not a strategy, to say, I'm raising my prices or my fees, and then give people a month notice. As of March 1st, 2025, I will be raising my fees to this. Thank you so much. Who wants to book? Or if it has to do with you earning money at a job, it can be not taking on extra responsibilities, but let's just look at the momentum behind that. It's like, oh, they want me to do that? No, they didn't have to ask me. And even then, I don't want to do it. Okay, no, none of that baby passive stuff. No, Taurus, sun, rising, and moon. It's, oh, wow, I would love to do that. And I'm going to let them know that for a minimal extra fee, I can do that for you if you feel that that's true. Or I have no problem giving that to you if you feel that that's true, and not resenting it afterwards. All right? There's no backpedaling. Taurus, when it comes to your money, your value, your security, what you do for work, how you get paid, be vocal, be compassionate, and understand that not everybody's going to be thinking your thoughts. Okay. You might even have an opportunity to leave one position and start something else with the retrograde there. You might go, that's it. That was it. That was the last straw. I'm done. Thank you so much. I will give 2 weeks notice because I'm a fair and compassionate person. You don't have to say that, but you're thinking it, and we hope that that's who you are. Gemini, sun, rising, and moon. Okay. Your second house of money, and what you do and how you do it, you're going to have such an inspiration to change your thinking. I love to crochet. I love to build sheds. Whatever you love doing. I love to teach. I could make a course out of that. I could teach something online. I could go to the local Y or the spa and, teach meditation or teach, coloring um things to kids ages 7 to 9. You're coming up with business ideas. You're coming up with solutions, monetary solutions, but you're also coming up with a way to feel satisfied and fulfilled. And it can be taking on a second job or creating something so that you can donate time, energy, money to the world based on what you value. Now, with Mars entering Cancer, January and February are going to feel more like, hey, what about me? And the vulnerability that you will feel is so necessary for you to get out of your head and into your heart and clean up the past. The first house deals with childhood trauma as much as it deals with personality and also body parts. Maybe your stomach has been hurting. Maybe you have breast issues or a chest issue. Maybe you cracked a rib when you were working out and it's too much. It's about taking time to relax, to rest, to recuperate, and to go within and not to dwell on the past like, oh yeah, that happened to me when I was 6. But to, if it comes up and you remember it, to heal it in the moment. Champion yourself, Gemini, sun, rising, and moon, as if you are the adult to the little child in you that had an experience that terrified them, scared them, made them feel less than. And in your mind, do a little meditation, put your hand on their shoulder, and you say, I know exactly how you feel. Let's replay this scene. We're going to rework the memory. I'm here now. So if someone was rude to you, if you fell down, you got hurt, you broke a limb, or maybe your parents divorced and you never got over it. And so you're basing, future relationships on that. Whatever the situation is, see yourself as the healthy adult who is now championing the inner child. During the month of January, February, it's a great writing exercise to do. Whatever your dominant hand is, put a pen in that hand. Hi, would you like to talk today? And then put a pen, pencil, crayon in the other hand, and you're talking to your inner child. Okay, how old are you? I'm 7. How do you feel? I'm sad. Okay, do you want to talk about that? Okay, so it's like you have a dialogue with your inner self, and then you, the adult, says, I know exactly how you feel. Let's imagine we can rework the situation. Let's imagine we can go back in time. We really can't, but you can tell your brain and your heart that we can imagine having support, the support that you needed then, you have it now. And then you raise that age into a healthy you. Make sense? It's an energetic exercise that works really well. So think about doing that, Gemini, sun, rising, and moon, because the trauma that you experienced as a child, verbal abuse, physical abuse, abandonment, the gamut, whatever. You fell because someone neglected you and you broke a leg and it took 6 months in a cast and it was so painful. And you think about that every time you go for a walk or you go running or you go to work out. We have to stop thinking about the trauma. Gemini, sun, rising, and moon. Whatever the trauma was, you're carrying it with you. And so now let's let it go. Let's let it go with an energy exercise. You're constantly championing your little girl, your little boy, your little they, your little them. And you say, I'm here for you right now. And heal that part of yourself. And also the first house with Mars retrograde, if you have pent up anger that you're not dealing with, it will come to you. Someone will say, who are you to do that or say that? Or what's wrong with you? Because it represents the wound. So it's even more motivation to help you heal that part of yourself, even if you do a little counseling. And the upside is that by the end of that time frame in January, February, you're going to feel so much more motivated to be self-nurturing, to be self-sufficient without being separate or extreme. Your tendency is to go to an extreme, like help everybody else except yourself, or the opposite. Just focus on what you need, and then, oh, okay, them. That's, if you're watching this, that's probably not you. So do you hear what I'm saying? Gemini, sun, rising, and moon. It's your time to really heal. And with Uranus in Taurus retrograde about to enter your sign in 2025, yes. Empowerment, sudden change. And you like that. Okay, folks. So just remember, last call for my astrology year in advance reading. And we're going to cover, let's see. We're going to cover Jupiter in Cancer, the Venus retrograde, Neptune entering Aries, and Uranus entering Gemini. That's happening in 2025. So click on the link and book your session now. There's only 2 or 3 spots left, so might as well grab it and gift yourself something for the new year. We're going to cover it all. Thank you for being here. Next time, let's see, that is the 12th. We'll be back and we'll be talking more fun astrology stuff and intuitive stuff and self-empowerment, brain entrainment stuff. So please come back. Thank you for being here. As always, I wish you peace. And I know you're going to handle this Mars in retrograde, Leo, then Cancer like a pro. See you next time.